Welcome to Drunken Life Altis Life server. This is what the map looks like. I'm going to give you a quick tour around the map so you can see what kind of items we have on the map. So let's start at everyone's favorite spot, Kavala. So as opposed to default Altis Life, our Kavala is a lot more centralized. You have all your areas right near the square. Your hospital, fish market, diving shop, all your standard stuff, your police HQ, bar, gas station, delivery missions. There's the distillery, we'll go into that a little later. The gun store, every city in Drunken Life does have a gun store, and it tries to not be right in the center of the city, but it's near enough that you can actually get a gun in the city if you have a license and the money. So we also have Kavala Financial up there, we'll go into that a little later as well. So if you go to Kavala itself, you can see that what we've done is we've built up a little bit around Kavala Square in order to make it less likely that you'll be run over by a vehicle while you're a new spawn gearing up. No NPCs, we use tablets. This is our logo on the tablet. But as you can see, you've got your ATM standard, your clothing store, your market, your DMV, and the square itself, like I said, is a little better protected. This is our billboard, the standard billboard you'll see around the map. It basically gives you a list of basic rules, although we do have rules that are posted in the map itself, and you can go through all those rules and see it. The map also tells you things like your controls that are custom to this server itself. You see we've gone with a more standard H for holster and unholster. We've gone with a more simple tab in order to place your hands on your head, delete for your earplugs, things like that. But you can always come back here and reference them. We also have the license prices, so you don't end up out trying to process something and you don't have the license for it, or you don't have the right amount of money. We've got you taken care of there. So that's Kavala. The other cities are very similar in makeup and design. We've gone ahead and put NPCs and clothing stores and everything near enough to each other that when you first spawn in one of these major cities, you can collect up all of your items quickly if you have to. And of course, all of these houses are also available for sale. So it's nice to have a house near a city, but far enough away that you're not going to run into every random civilian running around that city. The gun store, as usual, is in the city, but a little further away from all the centralized items. We've got hospitals, of course, in every city, the truck stop, police station. So your standard items are also the easiest way would be to look at the licenses. You've got your cement, copper, iron, salt, diamonds, and other processing abilities that are legal. You turn on illegal, then you would be going to the moonshine, the drugs like cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. We also have oil in the server, and oil is a very custom process that I'll show you in another video, but it is also illegal because you'll be stealing oil from the island itself and taking it for yourself. We have your standard Fed robberies, slightly modified for our style. Your Fed robberies, of course, you would sell the items down at the gold bar's buyer. In order to rob the Fed, you would need a blasting charge and bolt cutters to cut the door, and a blasting charge for the safe. Police HQ is in a little better area. We've moved it over here so that you have access to Federal Reserve robberies, and if you're doing illegal or rebel activities in the airfield area, then you don't have a police HQ right there. We have the chop shop in a nice spot on the docks where it would make sense because freighters would come pick up your chopped item and take it, and then we have a southern chop shop in Kavala. On top of that, we have introduced a feature called Kavala Bank. So if you go to Kavala Financial, it's inside the stadium. And of course, there's our little bank icon. You can rob the bank. So I'll just turn my sound up a little bit here. And of course, you can rob the bank. Now, robbing the bank sets off an alarm. Ignore that error. It doesn't actually affect it, and it will be removed in our newest update. Police are notified immediately when you start robbing the bank. You and friends can rob the bank, and it would take some time to be able to actually successfully complete it. Robbing the bank would net you anywhere between $20,000 and $300,000. I'm going to get out of here because that sounds annoying. And because of that, all police officers would end up responding to that, and of course, you would have yourself a fight. So up north, you have, of course, we have cartels. Let's start with that. We have the cocaine cartel, the heroin cartel, the moonshine cartel, and the arms dealer cartel. Now, the cartels, if you aren't experienced with them, are areas where you would go, and I'll go to one right now. Well, I'm a little far away. Let's get a little closer. Okay, so provided that you have... Oh, I'm just getting the message now, the global alert. Provided that you have a rebel weapon, a large caliber weapon, or any illegal weapon, you can come to one of these cartels, enter the red zone at the cartel, and it will automatically start to capture the cartel. So as you can see, it's at 100%. The gang index rules currently holds the cartel. I'm in a different gang, so if I were to now stand here long enough, that's going to start going down because I have a rebel weapon and I'm in the cap zone. Now, say for instance, if someone from the gang index rules was in the cap zone, the cap would cease to go down. It would stay at 95 or at 100, and I know that there's someone here and I'm not able to cap it. So you would come here, you would battle, and you would fight gang for gang. Now, it takes about 40 minutes to capture a cartel entirely from taking it from someone else's ownership, but there are great benefits when you do actually capture them. So we're currently at the cocaine cartel, and what ends up happening is if I capture the, so you can see it's contested right now. So if I capture this cartel from Index's gang, what ends up happening is that anyone who runs cocaine in Drunken Life in the server, when they process it, we get a cut of the money that they make while processing into our gang account. So all those funds are accessible by any member of your gang at any point at any ATM, and you get a certain percentage of that, so your gang is constantly making money. So you would want to hold on to the cartel. So same goes with heroin or moonshine, and the only difference would be arms dealer. Arms dealer, if you own that cartel, anytime a rebel weapon is purchased from the rebel shop, your gang would get a cut of the money from it. So you would always be making money for your gang if you own the arms cartel. So you kind of want this one. This one's going to have a lot of money making ability for your gang, because anytime, like say you're fighting at a gang cartel over here and you die and you want to come back to continue the fight, or you need to defend your gang's cartel, you're going to have to go to a rebel outpost, buy weapons, which then might give money to the gang you're fighting over here should they be the ones holding the arms dealer cartel. So it gets pretty complicated, but it's pretty simple. You want to hold these, and they make your gang money. You guys can then do whatever you want with the money, buy weapons, give paychecks to your gang members, anything you want. Now, if we move on from cartels, actually first you'll see that this is contested. So now that I've contested this, the opposing gang who owned the cartel will get a message showing that I'm trying to take their cartel. They'll gear up and they have lots of time to get a helicopter with a bunch of guys together, armed and ready to go, and they'll fly over and they'll fight me here for the cartel. While it's contested, that gang doesn't make any money from any of the drugs being run on the server. So we'll move on from there. You have your standard fields, cocaine, everything, but then you get into these ones here: yeast, hops, water, corn, and rye. And what ends up happening with those is, as you can see at the top of my map, you can make various items. To make whiskey, you need rye, yeast, and go to the distiller, then the bottler. Once you've created that, you can sell it at the bar. This one here, to make beer, hops and yeast, brewery, then the bottler, then sell at the bar. So the big one here is these two are legal activities. You can do those and they're perfectly legal to do. Moonshine itself is an illegal activity. You make good profit because of that, but it's tough to do. So for moonshine, you need water, corn, and yeast. And it's not just any water. You can't use water bottles. You have to go to this mouth of this river and gather water buckets. When you put all those together and you do the moonshine processing, then the bottling, it's a long process, and what ends up happening is you create a product that's pure moonshine, and then you would sell it. And what happens with the moonshine is you get a good value for it. It's extremely valuable. That's why it has its own cartel. You make a lot of money if you put the time in to run moonshine. Aside from moonshine, we've also got the forest. So you would make sure you got yourself a chainsaw, and you would go to the forest with, say, an off-road or a quad bike. But you wouldn't want a quad bike because the thing about the forest is it's a big run. The forest doesn't require a license. All you need is a chainsaw. If you go there, you're cutting down and you're collecting lumber. So you collect the lumber, and what ends up happening is you have a long drive. You don't have to process it, and you have a long drive to the lumber buyer here. So you chainsaw, lumber, collect it right down to the lumber buyer where you sell it, and you make very good money. It's a great place to start because if you can't afford licenses for anything else, you don't need a license for this to process it because you don't actually process it. You cut it down, and you see this gentleman here is running salt. You cut it down and you bring it to the lumber buyer, where you can then sell it, and even a new spawn who spent all his money on his off-road truck can make a good profit and actually jumpstart his career on Drunken Life so that you can do lots of other things. We have our jail here. Our jail, custom made by Valiant, put a lot of time into this. It's a real jail type scenario. It looks really good. It looks like a jail. It's not like other servers' jails where they just look like buildings or cages. Our jail looks like a jail. It's well established. It's in an area where it's away from the public. You have access to it. Inside you have the jail building, the yard, everything you basically need for a jail. And the way it's built is to anticipate jailbreaks. So if you were with your gang and you want to try to do a jailbreak, you would come to the jail, start a jailbreak, and you would have that all go down with strategic positions around the jail so that when police show up, you can have a very good fight with them. You might win, you might lose, but if you win, you'll break everyone in the jail out of the jail. And of course, that's always fun, especially if you have a gang member. You might even want to put a gang member in the jail just so that you can start a jailbreak. So that's the jail. The salt mine, we all know how to do salt. You get your salt licenses, everything like that. We have our standard gas station robberies with a little bit of a twist because there's audio in this custom gas station robbery code. So you would actually hear sounds when robbing a gas station. So say I don't have a gun and I try to rob the gas station, he'll laugh at me. Think you frighten me, boy? And he asks if I frighten him, but I don't because I don't have a gun. So I'm going to pull out my gun and I'm going to try to rob him. Please, sir, no, I have a family. And he's begging for his family's life. So that's exactly the kind of little jokes and stuff you see all throughout Drunken Life gaming. There's all sorts of little tweaks and things like that to standard things you've seen, as well as a lot of custom stuff. But a lot of stuff that's just going to make you laugh, bring you more into an RP type of feel with the game. So I don't need to, so obviously robbery is in progress. That's now a red zone. Anyone who drives by can shoot me, and a police officer can see that there's a robbery in progress. So this is the map. We have our standard rebel outposts, rebel vehicle shops. They're in standard places, as you've seen. We have a northern rebel that's custom. And this is basically it. If you have any recommendation from me, I would suggest that if you're a new spawn in Kavala, that you start out by running copper. Copper is a cheap license. It's a great place to start, and you can move on from copper to iron, or even from copper, if you make enough money, you can move on to do some brewing with some beer or some whiskey. But most people would probably jump onto some illegal activity by processing and selling marijuana. So this is our map. We have go-karts. We have all of the DLCs, the Marksman DLC, the Helicopter DLC. They're all available for you to use. The weapons in Rebel are something that a lot of you might enjoy. I'm going to go ahead and get away from this robbery so I can show you a couple of the Rebel weapons. So if you were at a Rebel outpost, you can buy helicopters, buy all your Rebel gear, but beware, because a Rebel outpost is a red zone where another Rebel group might come and kill you while you're here. So you have all your standard clothing plus all the downloadable content, ghillie suits and everything like that if you do have the DLC. On top of that, in the weapons, we have a good list of weapons for you to be able to use, starting out with a sniper rifle, which most Altis Life servers don't actually have. But we think we've managed to balance having it in the game pretty well with what the police officers can have, what other rebels can have, and it's expensive. So you have the Cyrus, the DLC weapons, MK18, MK1, MK4, the Rahim, the MXM, MXC, your Vermin, ACP. You've basically got a big list of weapons, sights, attachments, suppressors, grenades, bipods, just a lot of things that a lot of Altis Life servers don't allow for whatever reason. We think we've managed to add them and balance them pretty well. We have a very good medic team, whitelisted medics. Bexy Bex, who just connected, she is in charge of our medics, and they do a pretty good job. The other thing is, you start making a lot of money, you want to show off, we have a jet shop. So you can purchase a jet pilot license. You can, for 5 million, you can purchase a jet if you really wanted to. And the weapons in all the vehicles have been removed except for the 50 cal armed off-road. But other than that, all the air vehicles do not have weapons. So anyway, this is the Drunken Life Altis Life server. We'd enjoy for you to come and play with us, because we have a very solid community foundation started, but we've only been up for a few days now. We're very happy with how it's going, and we've put a lot of work into server stability and optimization for high FPS for all of our community to play on and have active combat without any lag, without server stuttering, things like that. We've gone out of our way. So it looks like someone's also robbing the bank right now. So we can see how that goes. I don't know who's doing it. We'll go through that in another video. Anyway, Drunken Life, Altis Life, the link for the TeamSpeak and for the server itself and the website will be in the description of this video. We invite you to come play with us, as we think you'll have a lot of fun here. Thank you for listening.